this pulpit, the man of God, apostle to the nations, Jessee Duplantis. Hallelujah.
Thank you. Is this thing on? Got it. Heard it. All right. Thank you. Give the Lord a big God bless you.
Get his mic up.
Hallelujah. Please, you may be seated. Thank you. I think they're going to adjust this microphone a little bit. Glory to God. I sure enjoyed the worship. Hallelujah. Glory to God. A lot of oohing and ahhing going on here. I like that. Glory to God. It's such a blessing and an honor once again to be here at Faith Exchange. I was talking to Pastor Dan in the back, actually downstairs, wherever I was. I get turned around in New York. And 16 years, and this is my 17th time. Did I come twice in 1 year or something?
Yeah, you came twice.
I say, glory to God. God has been so good and gracious. I thank each and every one of you coming out tonight and being a part of what God is doing. And it's just such a blessing. You know, there were several scriptures that were spoken. I believe it was Pastor Dan that said, or maybe it was Pastor Ann. I get them mixed up, Ann and Dan, Dan and Ann. Both of them very tall people, so it's hard to know the difference here. But you mentioned the scripture calling those things that be not as though they were. Do you know why God put that in the Bible? You ever wondered why? That's Romans chapter 4, verse 17. God calleth those things that be not as though they were. Because he don't want you satisfied with what you see. He wants you to be satisfied by what you say. And your power is in your saying. See? That's why Abraham called those things that be not as though they were, just like God did. Because you see, if you want something changed, it can only change when you say it. Don't shout me down when I'm preaching good. Listen to it. It only changes when you say it. And we say, well, I want God to say it. He's already said it. He don't need to say it again. You just got to get in line with what he already said. So that's why you call it those things that be not as though they were. He said, oh, no man anything. Well, that's impossible. Yeah, but it's doable. It has nothing to do with what's impossible. And I didn't have anything to do with that, see. They say you can never pay off the debt of love. And the reason why God said, oh, no man anything, but to love him, so you would not be in bondage or a slave, and I use that word correctly, to the Babylonian system. When God wanted you to live in the blessing that Brother Copeland has been preaching on for about 4 years, I guess now. What is the blessing? Be fruitful, always producing. Multiply, always increasing. Replenish, use it, fill it, refill it. Then he said subdue, which is a strange word to be used in a perfect society. Subdue means control your environment, or your environment will control you. But the Lord was telling Adam, snake coming. Put it down. This is your place. See, God was calling those things that be not as though they were right there when he used the word subdue. Isn't that wonderful? So if you don't like what's going on, let me give you a revelation and a word from God. Change it. How I'm going to do that? By what you say. And then what you say becomes application and implementation. And then God honors you. I'm Jessee Duplantis, and I approve this message. Give the Lord another God bless you. Real quickly, we brought some resource material since we saw you last. This here, I have been offered a ton of money to write a book on this, and I did a little mini book and things of that nature. And so many people cannot understand how I can come flying on a corporate private jet. I've owned 3 jets and about ready to get a 4th one. And don't get mad at me, it ain't my fault. It's he that gave me power. What you want me to do? And how you can do what you do. And I'm talking about the biggest preachers in the country. You want me to name some? T.D. Jakes, who I preach for quite often. Marilyn Hickey. My Lord, I mean, just about all of them say, how do you go to any size church without charging people? And I said, well, that's very simple. They don't meet my needs. Now, they don't like that. See, they go, well, yeah. And that God causes people to give, don't misunderstand me. But I've learned something. If you believe he's El Shaddai or Yahweh or Jehovah Jireh, then he's going to do what he says. Amen. You see, what I don't have in life is the suppose it don't work syndrome. Well, what happens if you don't get a good offering? Nothing. It ain't changed a thing. What happens if you get a great offering? It hadn't changed a thing neither. So I come not determined by how much you are going to give to my ministry. But I will say this, the anointing of increase is on me. I invite you to get into my ministry because you're going to get blessed. You say, I don't believe it. Keep your money and go broke. But you see, I learned something. And I preached on this, and this is a 2 DVD set. In fact, we opened it up to question and answer. Why is it my giving working? Because how many of you have been giving and you hadn't seen the results you want to see? Come on, be honest, lift your hand up. I would say most people in church have. The reason why is because a lot of time we mix up things in the Scripture. And God has a plan and a purpose, and He don't change, even though you might. There's 4 types of giving in the Bible. That's the tithe. What is its motivation? Obedience. There's the first fruit. What is its motivation? Generosity. Then there's the alms. What is its motivation? Compassion. Then there's the seed. What is its motivation? Faith and reward. You see what I'm saying? 4 types of giving. Yet all 4 of those have different rates of exchange. The tithe, what is its rate of exchange? Open-winded heaven. That means recession shouldn't touch you. And He rebukes the devourer for your sake. What is the rate of exchange for first fruit? Very simple. First fruit says that God says, if you give me first fruit off you, and you don't pay first fruit on your income, because most preachers preach that, they're wrong. You pay first fruit on your increase, not your income. But see, they're trying to get as much as they can. That's why they're struggling all the time. What is the rate of exchange? God says, well, my Lord, you mean you're going to do this for me? Then I can trust you with more. Then alms, what is its giving? What is its rate of exchange? You know, he that pitieth to the poor, lendeth to the Lord, I shall repay. So notice when you give money to the poor, if you give $100, all you get back is $100. It's dollar for dollar. And nothing wrong with that because you should take care of the poor. Then seed, oh God, hallelujah. Seed, what is its rate of exchange? Now there's the 30, 60, and 100-fold and 1,000 times. I want you to see that for a minute. I want you to listen to me. That's where that's at. That's called the offering. See what I'm saying? Now, here's where people make mistakes. Now, the Lord told me to just talk a little bit about this because we can't keep this on the show. This here is kicking because this stuff works. Because you see, when you mix them up, see, now watch this, and you may have done this. And you may not really realize what you're doing because your heart's right. You want to give. I'm going to take it. Watch this. You come to Faith Exchange. I'm going to help you out here, Dan. I'm going to help you out here, Dan. I'm going to take a portion of my tithe, and I'm going to help that poor person down there. Nothing wrong with helping the poor person, but you just changed the rate of exchange. What do you mean? All of a sudden, you made your tithe alms. Now, what happened was the rate of exchange is dollar for dollar. Now, what happens is God can't rebuke the devourer for your sake. Then He has to close the window of heaven so that the blessing can't come out because He didn't, you did. You changed the rate of exchange. Okay, let's forget about the tithe. But I don't need tithe, but I give big offering. How many times have you seen people win the lottery, $100 million, and 2 years later, they're broken in jail? How did that happen? Because, you see, the devourer was not rebuked for their sake. Do you see that? 95% of all giving to ministry is alms. And that's why they'll say to somebody like me or Brother Copeland or Brother Sylvester, that 100-fold stuff don't work because, you see, they change their offering and they change the rate of exchange. Now, the seed is the 36, 100-fold, and 1,000 times. You see, that's the rate of exchange. See, when you understand, if you keep these in perspective. Now, in over 35 years of full-time ministry, and I'm not saying this to bragging or being arrogant, I've never had a financial deficit. Now, that's unheard of. I've had Jake sit me down, how you do that? I said, I don't. He already did. See, he called those things with be not as though they were God before I was ever born. So I just decided to accept what he said. I thought, well, you know, if I'm going to say something, I'm going to say what he said. Ain't no use to me trying to come up with something new. Because if it's been working for God for whatever the amount of, eternity upon eternity, it ain't going to stop with me if I say what he says. I hope you can get this because this will help you. How many of you could use some financial help? And how many of you have been given the ones that had financial help? Same people. Isn't that amazing? You need this. This will help you. And it'll explain something. And then when you get to the DVD with the question and answers, that is some good stuff. You see, and you have to understand, and where most people are confused in these four types of giving is not in the tithe, not in the alms, and not in the seed. It's in the first fruit. Because you see that they're trying, and because a lot of people, they try to get first fruit on your income and everything they got. No, it's on your increase, not your income. And it's only done once a year. One time. That's it. The whole rest of the year. I'll just give you an example on that. Let me explain it. Let's say you got $50 a week raise. Let's say your year ends December 31st and your new year starts January 1. I'll just use that for example. All right. And your boss gives you a $50 raise. Okay. Let's say you're making $100 a week. I'm just using that example. So now you're going to get paid on the 7th, you know, or whatever. When they pay, you're going to pay you once a week. Now you're going to get $150. You would take that $50 and give that, watch this, to God's house or to Dan and Ann. God don't care what. You can give it to the preacher or you can give it to the church. He lets you decide that. Now, what the preacher's preaching, he wants the whole 150. No, you don't do that on your income. You did that on your increase. You increased to $50. Now, most people would say that, yeah, but I believe in God. I need that $50. Well, you didn't have it all year. I think you can wait another week. I think you can wait another week. And that tells God, I can trust that person with finance. So, now watch this. Okay, let's say the next week, okay? The next week, your boss comes up to you and says, you've been such a perfect employee. You know, we gave you a $50 raise last week. We're changing that. We're giving you a $1,000 raise a week. Now people say, well, first fruit. No. It's the first fruit. First. There ain't no second. You keep the $1,000. You do whatever you want with it. Now, should you tithe on it? Yeah, I would do that. But I'm talking about your first fruit, see? Now they would say, well, you got to pay first fruit. No, that would be the second fruit. First fruit. I mean, let the elevator go to the top. You understand what I'm saying? And then when you put these things in perspective, you get ready for the blessing of God. You don't believe me? Don't get it. It'll help you. That's back there if you like that. And it will minister. Here's another thing here. How many of y'all have seen this for years? People love all these funny stories I've said over the years. And it's called A Merry Heart Doeth Good Like a Medicine. This is volume 7. This is brand new. All new stuff on there. Even got some funny stuff Kathy did. Kathy can be funny. It is a blessing. And I tell people to get these set of tapes. And we have sold, oh, God, at least 100,000. Maybe more. Just one product. You understand what I'm saying? Watch. And what happens is you invite people over your house, you pop some popcorn, put this on. They get to laugh, and then they go, wait a minute, we're in church. All of a sudden they get healed. This is hilarious, funny. I've never had a sinner didn't like this. Everyone that's ever done it and pulled that, they said, God, man, I like that guy. Even James Brown. Remember James? Wow, I feel good. He called me his man. You my man. Think about that for a minute. This is powerful. It's brand new. That's back there. And you got all kind of new stuff. I preached a sermon. This is on a DVD the other day at Covenant Church, which is the local outreach in my ministry. I don't preach very much at my home church because I travel so much. On recognizing what you are created to do. See, most people don't know what they're created to do. And if you don't know where you're going, you're not going to know when you get there. You pass that way you're supposed to go, and that's why you're struggling all the time. You got to know, what did God put me on this planet to do? It's not just to exist. And it's not to be your mama, be just like your mama or just like your daddy, because you only got one mama. See, you got to understand, you're not a copy. You are an original. Everyone. God don't create dumb. Just because somebody's not educated don't mean they're dumb. They're just not educated. And you'll learn what you created to do here. Because each and every one of you have wonderful talents that can be used greatly to not only enhance your own self, but to enhance what's outside them windows right there. That's back there. And one more. And then finally, I write a lot of books. I love this book. I wrote this book because I was a Catholic boy. I was christened and confirmed a Catholic boy, and the priest would never let me talk to God. And when I said, I need to talk to God, he said, what's the matter with you? You don't talk to God, you're talking to me. He was an Italian. I said, yeah, but I said, do you talk to God? No, I don't talk to God. What do I want to talk to you for? I need to get to the man. I wrote this years ago, and I tell you, people still, this is hard to keep on the shelf. wanting a God you can talk to. Hello, Jesus. Hi, Jessee. I like that. I like that. That's a blessing instead of going, I ain't worthy, Lord, or you ain't mad today, are you? No. You just walk in because you're not just a son of God. You're a family. And every angel in heaven, which is innumerable, recognize that. When are you going to recognize it? When? I mean, going to wait another millennium? That's back there. Avail yourself to the resource table if you so desire, and God will richly bless you. On December 31st, 2012, I went before the Lord on New Year's Eve night to find out what I would minister on for 2013. Now, I'm not like Kenneth Copeland that takes one subject and just preaches it constantly. In fact, when I first started preaching with him, I said they would preach the same sermon at least a year. I said, do y'all know anything else? But I didn't realize that you never get it all on the first go-around. You really don't. And it's just amazing. See, you don't really get full till you're at the second helping or the third helping. That's why everybody loves buffets. You know why people like buffets? You don't get what you need. Need ain't even a part of your life. You get what you want. Now, you don't feel bad if you go back for seconds, do you? Why do you feel bad when you tell God what you want? Because once you get what you want, you destroy all your need. Need ceases to function. It doesn't exist because you now went so high, you went past the need level and got to the want level and got the want, see? And God, then you can pray like David said, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. So I want to do a little teaching. Anyway, I went before the Lord, and he gave me a statement, and he really reiterated it. He said, believe the unbelievable and receive the impossible. And then he said, if you're not believing the unbelievable, you're really not believing at all. Now, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to prove this to you right now. How many of you are saved? Hold your hand up. Wave it at me. Prove it. You can't. You have no evidence to the fact that when you die, you go to heaven. It's totally unbelievable, totally impossible, but then nobody can talk you out of it. Because it's doable. You don't have a contract signed by God that when you die, you go to heaven. But you have developed yourself so much in faith on salvation that when somebody says, you're not saved, get out of here, man, get out of my face, man. You're living in a dream world. Why don't you develop yourself on the financial side like that? It's in the same book. Why don't you develop yourself on the healing side like you did on the salvation? You can't prove the salvation side. But yet you developed yourself so much that you laugh at somebody if they tell you you're not born again. And sometimes, let's face it, life is not easy. You get up, you don't feel saved. But that doesn't change it. You are. You know, sometimes you get up in the morning, you don't feel healthy. But that don't change it. You are what God says you are. See, you got to learn to develop yourself. See, you believe the unbelievable and the impossible, which came so strong in you that nobody can talk you out of it. Why can't you do it on all those sides? Oh, no man anything but to love it. Now, if anybody knows about not having debt, you're looking at this man. I've been out of debt since 1982. I don't know what my credit rating is. I will never use it. I sent Obama a letter saying you can have my Social Security if you want. I ain't going to never use it because I refuse to live on limits when I serve an unlimited God. So the Lord said, go out and minister on believing the unbelievable and receiving the impossible. And the scripture we use, and I'm not going to say it all tonight, I just want to give you something to think on. If I give you too much to think on, you'll go back on. But see, if you can get this one verse, if you can get that, I mean, that's a beginning. That's like you're getting at the top of a slide. And when you start sliding, the next thing you're going to hit is water. Because you can't stop the slide. And that's Mark chapter 11, verse 23. You know, I always say the verse that Kenneth Hagin wrote. Because he preached on that verse for over 60 years and still could not get through it all. Mark chapter 11, verse 23 says, verily I say unto you, that whosoever shall say. That's a big word, whosoever. That's 3 words in 1 word. Now, in Mark chapter 11, verse 23, y'all got that up there? Okay, good. Look at that up there on the King James. I want you to keep that up there. God's not in that verse. Jesus is not in that verse. The Holy Spirit is not in that verse. The only person in that verse is you. This is what Jesus believes you can do. When are you going to believe it?
Amen.
Listen to me. This ain't got anything to do with God. This don't have anything to do with Jesus. This don't have anything to do with the Holy Spirit. This has everything to do with you. This is what God believes you can do. When are you going to believe it? He said that whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed and be thou cast into the sea. Now the problem with the church world is they made you a mountain climber instead of a mountain dissolver. Spend your whole life climbing a mountain, slide down, kill yourself and your grandma, both of y'all as they're going down. When God never told you to climb the mountain, oh, it ain't going to be tough. But Lord, if you'll help me, and if you'll walk with me today, Lord, and I want to let you know, if you know, that's a bunch of hogwash, man. That's emotion. That gets you excited. It makes you glorify your trouble. See how that Satan done sucked you in on something? So you get some what we call church gear. And let's climb this mountain. Oh, Lord Jesus. Broke my leg the last time I started up. And all that kind of craziness. That's a mountain climber. God didn't say that. He said, if you would say to this mountain, He made you a mountain dissolver.
Amen.
Be thou removed. Watch this. And be thou cast into the sea. Do you know the only place you can hide a mountain is in the ocean?
Yeah.
Can't hide anywhere else. Say that be thou cast in the sea. Now, He told you to tell your mountain where to go.
Amen.
I don't know why you have a problem with that. You tell everybody else where to go. Especially in New York. I'll tell you one thing. If you ain't driving fast enough, somebody's going to tell you where to go in a second. Give you some sign language and some good language too at the same time. Have no problem. He said that, verily I say unto you, whosoever shall say unto this mountain, be thou removed, be thou cast in the sea. Now watch this. And, yeah, thank you, Lord. I'm going to just close my Bible. I'm going to just speak because this is a whole sermon, but the Lord said just do a part of this. Because once you get this, it'll make you slide so fast, the rest of it will just come flowing to you. Whosoever shall say to this mountain, be thou removed, be thou cast in the sea, and shall not doubt in his heart. Stop. Everybody in this building, including Jessee Duplantis, will get doubt in his head.
Right.
It's an automatic. Because thoughts come into your mind uninvited. He ain't talking about doubt in your head. He's talking about doubt in your heart. You don't need a heart bypass. You need a head bypass. Shall not doubt in his heart.
Right.
Didn't say anything about his head. Well, what happens, Brother Jesse, when you get a bad thought in your mind? I bring every thought into captivity to the obedience of Christ. Wait, but how do I do that? By casting down that imagination, everything that exalts itself above the knowledge of God, bringing every thought into captivity. So when I get a thought in my mind that's not right, I go, that's not my thoughts. My thoughts are lovely, just, good report, pure, virtuous. I shall think on these things. Satan, you have invaded a place that you have no right to come. You see what I'm saying? That is so simple, you need a good theologian to help you misunderstand it. So when you get a bad thought, and you know what, let me help you. I get some bad thoughts in my mind. Can you believe it? I didn't conjure it up, it just come flying in there. What was this? That's not my thoughts. Shall not doubt in his heart. Now, what happens? Let me tell you something. Once you say something, you own it. You transfer it from your head to your heart when you say it. Let me tell every man that's married or every boy that's dating a girl. If a woman come up to your wife or your girlfriend and say, honey, did this dress make my butt look big? Do not answer that question. Because you're going to own it for the rest of your life. I had a lady do something stupid the other day. You know, sometimes women do stupid things. And I'm not against women. She said, can I take a picture with you? I said, well, sure. It was at the Believer Convention. So I took a picture and I put my hand on her back like this. And we're going to take a picture. I did one in the background. It was Ann and Dan like this. Okay. She goes, oh my God. Oh my God. I said, something wrong? She said, I hope you didn't feel my back fat. I said, what'd you say? No, Ann didn't say this. Another person. I said, she said, I hope you didn't feel my back fat. I said, your back fat? And let me tell every lady, there ain't no man in the world said, did you see the fat on that woman's back? Ain't no man looking at it. He's looking about 12 inches lower. Do you understand what I'm saying? You know the part that you don't like trying to make small? The man loves the butt. Why don't you just be honest here? He ain't worried about your back fat. I thought, are you crazy, woman? Dan, in all your years, have you ever heard any man say, boy, that woman got some back fat, huh? No. You would say this, boy, that woman got a fine looking butt. There go, oh, no, look at that. He ain't worried about your back fat. Good God, that's the craziest thing. Let me get back to the sermon. I just had to throw that in there. Be thou removed, and be thou cast into the sea. Shall not doubt in his heart. Now watch this. But shall believe those things. Stop. What things? What does things mean to you? Think for a minute. Believe those things which you say, not what God says. You shall have. Believe those which is you shall come. What is that? You shall come what? You shall come. Oh, this is a different version. Y'all change the words? Well, you go to hell for doing that, Dan. You don't change the words. You can't change the word. God said don't add anything, take anything away, Dan. Okay. He said it's the guy in the back. But believe those things which you say shall come to pass. You shall have whatsoever you say. Wait. Things. Why is the church world freaking out over your things? Church world don't want you to have things. The secular world don't want you to have things. God wants you to believe for things. If things are so bad for you, why does God tell you to believe for it? What is the definition of faith? Hebrews 11 verse 1. You don't need to go there. Now faith is the substance of, the evidence of, it's your thing. Do what you want to do, Lord. So God don't care what you drive, what you wear, what you live, or what you fly. If you want to, church world does. Secular world just has flaming fits. I've had people say, I had a lady not long ago say, I don't think you ought to have that jet of yours. I said, sweetheart, I don't think I asked you. You see, to you, the word hell is a destination. In Louisiana, it's a culture. We use that word hell quite a bit. I said, get the hell out of my face. Now, people think that's just cursing. Not in New Orleans. That means you better get out of the way. The boy going to slap you there in a minute. Stupid stuff. Silliness. Because, see, God gave you the ability to believe for things. Now, go to verse 24. If Dan hadn't changed it, I don't know. Okay. Therefore. Anytime there's a therefore, find out what it's there for. It's a connecting word to a thought. Therefore, I say unto you. This is Jesus. This is what Jesus believes you can do. Yep. When are we going to believe what he believes about us? We're going to wait another millennium, another 100 years, century? I don't know. Therefore, I say unto you, what? Here we go again, girl. Things. Soever ye desire. Watch the theologian. If it be his will. No. That's not in there. They put that there. Well, because no, he ain't saying nothing about his will. He's talking about your will. They're trying to put God in that verse. He's not in that verse. He wants you to be in that verse. What things soever ye desire. Things. When you pray, watch. Notice I'm hesitating because the answer is here. When you pray, believe that you receive. Not when you get it. Not when you physically see it or it manifests. But when you pray, believe that you receive. Watch this. And you shall have it. Now, here's the problem with a lot of people. They believe the words about the things. They don't believe the things. What? If anybody believes in confession, I do. That's how you got saved. But what happens is, if you just believe the words about confession, you will never become saved. See, they believe the words about the things. And that's how they say it. I'm believing, I'm believing, I'm believing. I'm believing, I'm believing. Did you hear me say that? Oh, yeah, I'm believing, I'm believing, I'm believing. I'm standing on the word, standing on the word, standing on the word. I'm believing. I think I'm believing. I don't know what I'm doing. It ain't working, but I'm trying to get it to work. See, you're believing the words about the things, and you're not believing for the thing.
Yes. Hallelujah. Right.
Prime example of that, and I've said this before. 1978, I was driving to a meeting. I've been in full time. I preached my first message the first week of January 1976, and I went in full-time ministry in 1978. Okay. So I was driving to a meeting, and I was driving a Toyota. Okay, I had a Toyota. Now, gas cost 59 cents a gallon, and I couldn't fill up that Toyota. And it had a 10-gallon tank. I was broke. Driving to a meeting. And as I was driving and I was passed to a city in Louisiana called Lafayette, Louisiana. And a jet flew over my head. I passed right by the airport there. They got a nice airport there. And the Lord said, "Look up." And I looked up. And he said, "I'm going to give you a jet." And the first thing I thought of, I can't fill up a Toyota. How am I going to fill up a jet? Good God. I can't fill up a Toyota. You understand? And the Lord gave me probably the greatest statement of my life. And this is going to shock you when I say this. He said, "Jesse, I didn't ask you to pay for it. I asked you to believe for it. If you'll believe for it, I'll pay for it." See, the problem with the church world, they've taught you to pay for it. That when you pray, pay. No. When you pray, believe that you receive. You see what I'm saying? But see, we've been taught to pay for it, and you beat your brain slap silly trying to get that done. And you ever notice you never seem to get it all together because it's, I'm going to help you. It isn't your job to pay for it. It's your job to believe for it, and when you believe for it, the payment just automatically is there. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? So now you can understand what things you desire, not God. If it be His will, no, that's not in there. That's man put that in there because he feels, well, I don't want to be greedy. We ain't talking about greed, talking about your desire. I told someone last night, and I'll say this, I very seldom go shopping with Kathy, and nothing wrong with that. She likes to shop, don't kind of stuff. But, you know, women, you got to understand something about a man, ladies. Let me help you out. When a man said, "Let's go to the mall, we're going to walk the mall," he ain't going in the store. He going to walk the mall. How many men know what I'm talking about? Yeah, and you get to the end of the mall, you turn around, walk it up, you walk back. Now, the woman, she perceived that totally different. She said, well, because she want to go in the store. See, because women look at stuff that don't even fit them. You see them in the rack. "Boy, I love this. This is a size 4, and your leg don't fit in a size 4. And yet you're looking at a 4. Now, I don't know if a 4 is big, small. I don't know nothing about that. You know, because most men buy by their waist size, by their waist and the length. That's how they buy. Now, watch this. So, but I decided to go, we have a store in New Orleans called Saks Fifth Avenue. I know you'll have it here, too. So I'm at Saks Fifth Avenue, yeah. So I'm just standing there. Now, in Saks over there in New Orleans, they got Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Escada, Christian Dior, Gucci, and all that kind of stuff, you know. So, Kathy went straight to the Louis Vuitton section. She got enough purses. You name it, my God. She could, woman love purses. You got I don't know, 50, 60, 70. Everything from, you name it. I'm not bragging on it. That's what she likes. That's what she gets. Okay. I don't know how many. I probably have bought for other people at least 35, 40 Louis Vuitton purses for other people. Real ones. Not the kind that when they sell it to you and the cops come, they run around the corner. That's all y'all know about that old boy. Y'all met that boy, huh? I'm talking about the real kind. Yeah. People say, now some of y'all get mad about that. I don't care. Your money didn't buy it. See, because your problem is you got a thing issue. When God says, if you believe it, hey, not the words about it, he said, I'll bless you. Watch this. So I'm standing, here come a black woman. Okay? And the reason why I called her a black woman, I don't believe in African Americans or European Americans. I don't believe in any of that junk. See, that's division. We're Americans, you understand? You got to forget that at the door. When are you going to let the past quit defining you? You know, let's face it, most of America is the only real American we got on this whole place is the Indian. Everybody else was either brought here, sold here, done something. Well, you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, I don't like that. I don't say that's a black man. I say that's a man. I don't see him as a black man. I don't see a woman as a white woman. That's a woman. You understand what I'm saying? That's it. You're stirring up the junk. You don't need that. Because children don't know that until their parents tell them. Just go to a nursery and watch a little black boy and a little white girl and a little yellow and a little brown and red. All of them, they just playing, enjoying themselves until you say, you notice he's black? You notice he red? Oh, why'd you say that? Why didn't you just say that's a cute little boy? They don't know any different until that junk, that division junk. So now watch this. So I'm there. She comes stood by the Louis Vuitton place. Now I don't know this lady, she don't know me. But she go like, and I like her, but the reason why I said she's black, because black women, the sisters are very expressive. I mean, they're very expressive. Now white women are not, they go, huh? But the sisters say, don't mess with me, I'll cut you. You know what I mean? You gotta watch it. I mean, they're very expressive, especially in the South. Ooh. So she comes standing, she look at that Louis Vuitton and say, they got beautiful purses and all kinds of stuff. She goes, and I looked at her and I'm watching her and the Lord spoke to me. He said, she wants a Louis Vuitton purse. I said, okay. And then she turned around and walked off. That didn't bother me at all. She went. You see, it was her desire. So I thought I'd never see that woman again. It must have been, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes, something like that. She come back. I am out the picture. She don't even see me. She looking at them Louis Vuitton purses and stuff. He says, I want her to have a purse. I said, fine. I wasn't disagreeing with God. He said, you know why she's not getting one? I said, why? She's trying to figure out how to pay for it instead of believe for it. She turned around and walked off. I made my mind. I said, Lord, if I see that woman again, if she come back here, I'll buy her any Louis Vuitton purse in this store. She can pick what she wants. Some of them are $3,000 a pop. They're expensive. She never came back. I was glad. I ain't gonna lie about it. You know why she didn't come back? Trying to figure out how to pay for it. How many times you've gotten your car on a Saturday, you and your husband, you drive around a house you like, you go, oh, Lord. And people living in that house. Now, you ain't believing God to take the people, throw them out in the street and give you the house. No. Why do you keep driving? And you may do it the next week. You drive it. Why do you keep going over to that house? Because that's your house. How come you're not getting it? How come you don't have it? Because you're trying to figure out how to pay for it. And you took out the believing of it. And if you can't believe it, you will never, ever pay for it. You know where you get the word mortgage? The root word comes from mortuary. The word gauge means grip. A mortgage is a death grip. You pay back 3 times the amount you borrow, maybe a little more. You ever heard of something called compounded interest? What is that? That's a loan shark. Yeah. Most of these loan charge card companies are loan sharks. Credit card. That's compound. That's every day they're nailing you to the wall. But see, you've learned how to live on the Babylonian system. You can go to, I remember years ago, you could go to Sears, and that's when it was Sears and Roebuck. You could buy, I got a refrigerator and a freezer, microwave oven, washer and dryer, and pay $29 a month for 437 years. You never were going to pay it off. They didn't want you to pay it off. You keep them in business. They don't care if they keep you in bondage, because that's the system of the world. When God never told you to be on the system of the world. He said that when you pray, believe that you receive. And you shall have it. Not the words about the things. So quit making excuses for the blessings of God in your life. If somebody says, boy, that's a nice dress. I got it on sale. Well, that's nice, but you didn't have to. Good if you did. That's great. Nothing wrong with saving money. I don't have a problem with that. But you don't have to make an excuse for it. You just simply say, well, the Lord's been good to me. So when they tell me, I don't think you ought to have that jet, I say, well, the Bible says, thou shalt remember the Lord thy God, for it is he that giveth thee power to get wealth. Well, what you want me to do? It ain't my fault.
That's right. Go ahead.
Why are you mad at me because I'm being biblical and you're not? You see my point? You understand what I'm saying here? See, this is believing the unbelievable and receiving the impossible. Ken, lift your hand up. Ken, there's my chief pilot. Now, Ken's heard me preach this I don't know how many times. Okay, Ken, thank you. And he's believing for his own plane. Now, I don't know how many times he heard this sermon. He's saving his money. That's what you should do. You know what I'm saying? Probably not that he couldn't go borrow the money. Maybe he could. That's not the issue. I'm not talking about that. But it struck him not too long ago. Watch this. You know what? I've been trying to pay for this thing. Am I correct, Ken? I don't want to say this wrong. When Brother Jessee said, believe for it. When he got away, watch this. When he got away from trying to, when you pray, pay, to when you pray, believe, you receive, you bought your plane, what, in a week? Or in a few days after that? I can't hardly hear you. You have to talk loud. 2 months? Yeah, boom. Now he's got his own plane. Give the Lord a hand clap for that. See, this stuff works fast when you apply it right. Kathy asked me one time several years ago, I tell you what, you know what? You can just get your prayers answered so quick. Why? Because I have more faith in you? No. Here's the difference. I don't put my faith in the future. It wasn't made for the future. It was made for the now. Now, it has the ability to create a future. But why would you want to do that when you can have it in the now? Now faith is, not tomorrow. See, when I pray, believe that I receive. That's faith. Now. That's why God said you don't like what you see, so call those things to be not. So the word, change it. And he's not telling you next week. So you say, I want to tell you, God, watch this. You hear people say, well, especially on TBN, good Lord. And I am a host on TBN. How many of y'all seen me on TBN? I have my own program as well as God's going to do this. And God going to, people jump up, oh, glory to God. And God going to, and I want to scream, when? When is he going to do this? When? When you take your faith out of the future and place it in the now. And don't let time defeat you, because time don't wait for nobody. My daughter, Jody, is going to be 42 years old October the 25th. I thought, how old am I? Good God. It wasn't just a, I don't know, it seemed like 10 years ago, she was this big. I came here and Danielle was this big. Just a little bit. She ain't little no more. Because time don't wait for nobody. So it doesn't wait for me. I ain't waiting for it. You missed that. You see, when you're putting your faith in the future, you're waiting for it. No, it don't wait for you. So give it the same courtesy it gives you. Don't wait for it. Oh, that's good preaching right there. You see what I'm saying? And God begins to do things immediately, whose twins brothers named suddenly. They both mean the same thing. Immediately and suddenly. Boom. And all of a sudden you're beginning to see these things the way they're supposed to be. So I've told some of these major preachers, how can you come and not charge them for fuel? Because most people will give you a fuel bill. They ain't playing game. They won't blink, buddy. Well, first thing first. Now, they don't like this when I say this, and I've said it in the churches. I said, I received the David principle, the King David principle in my life. And what did David say? See, you got to find out people that have worked for them. I've never seen the righteous forsaken or his seed begging bread. Now, David lived to be an old man. To be able to say, I've never seen the righteous forsaken, the seed begging bread. He figured out a concept. Something worked for him. And what was it? He said, I will not offer God something that doesn't cost me something. You see, if this meeting does not cost me something, it ain't worth nothing. And if it ain't worth nothing to me, why would I think it'd be worth something to you? So when I adopted that policy, 35 years ago, I've never had a financial deficit. You see, what I did was adopt the word. Now, why would God give me a plane and not pay for it? It's like buying a car and you ain't got no money for gas. You're still walking, even if you got the car. Right? You see what I'm saying? And they can't seem to understand that. Well, man, we just got to heaven. I can't go unless there's at least 1,000 people. That's why you struggle. Well, you know, God's going to do. Oh, Lord, here we go with future again. I prefer when you're hungry, when you want to eat. When you want a new dress, ladies, when you want it. When you want a new piece of jewelry, when you want it. That ain't greed. And let me tell you something. The guy that owns the dress, the jewelry store, they want to bleed with you. They want you to have it now. So in actuality, God has given you someone to bleed with you. And if two of you agree, it's that simple, isn't it? That's so simple. There's so much faith around you, and you keep pushing it into the future. And you go home disgusted and disappointed. Oh, God, they don't do nothing. And God goes, hey, I didn't start this, you did. I'll never forget one time Kathy said, now we've been married, me and Kathy, on June the 6th of this year, we were married 43 years, okay? And to the same woman. That's a miracle of God. Watch that. She said, you know, now when I first married Kathy, I couldn't drive a car. She was right next to me. I mean, right here. Even though he had a full seat. Right here. She had the gall and the audacity one time to tell me something, man. She said, Jesse, you don't tell. I mean, you don't say as much as you used to. You know, about closeness. I said, well, sweetheart, I didn't move. I'm still in the same seat. You're the one that went on the other side of the door there. I said, when you first saw me, you'd have sat on seat belts, buckles, just to get close to me. What happened? She said, I got some sense. She got mad at me the other day. I thought it was so funny. Because when I married Kat, she was so innocent, so sweet. She was mad at me. She said, I'm going to tell you something. I said, well, it look like you're going to do it, so go ahead. She said, I ain't that dumb, stupid girl you married 43 years ago. I said, I miss her. I liked her a lot. She was a wonderful person. Where is she? Kathy said, she's dead. I said, okay. And both of us busted out laughing. You see what I'm saying? So when you understand, as long as you keep putting your prayers and God, gonna do this, gonna do that, you're not calling those things that be not as though they were, because you're throwing it. But when you say, I call those things that be now, and I expect to receive. There's no other choice. The minute you get pregnant and you do not feel the baby, your whole body begin to change. It don't care whether I don't want to be fat. It don't make no difference whether you want to be fat. That baby is now in total control and about the size of a small fingernail. And everything is designed. Take care of this. All life, everything. It don't make no difference how much that baby stretch you out. Well, I don't want stretch marks. Yo, mama, I don't care what you want. Why? Because life has power to take over. That's why you don't destroy life. But I lost a few of you right there. Oh, you want to know when Jesus is coming? Would you like a concrete, no faith, nothing spiritual, just simple fact that Jesus is coming? Every time the government got involved in killing babies, God sent a deliverer. What? Pharaoh got involved killing babies, and God sent Moses. Herod got involved in killing babies, and God sent Jesus. The government's involved in killing babies again, and Jesus is coming back. That's a sure sign that he is on the horizon. So you have to understand where you are. And if you don't like it, change it. Now let me close with this. Ooh, I'm going to get real radical now. Trayvon Martin. And I don't know the first guy. I just know him as Zimmerman. I don't know his first name. George Zimmerman. What a tragedy. 86% of black people hate the verdict. Didn't make no difference. Now, don't get mad at me yet. Don't. I can see some of y'all. Oh, wait. Don't get mad at me. It don't make no difference whether you like it or not. That includes Mr. Sharpton. But I don't like that stand, what do they call that? Stand law? Stand your ground law? But change it. Instead of talk about it. You don't need a conversation on it. Change it. Just that simple. But you see, the jury is spoken. Now, it don't make no difference whether you like it or not. Yeah, well, what do we think about it? It don't make no difference what you think. Now, you see, the pressure of people are now getting jurors to change their mind. How come their mind wasn't changed when they had a right to say what they're going to say when they were in that room? Now, we know the whole story. And you ready for this? 93% of all black people believe that O.J. Simpson killed that woman. Right? And killed that man. They believe it. White people got mad as a hornet about that because he was declared not guilty. We ain't dealing with innocent. Forget about that. The justice system doesn't deal with innocence. It deals with blind justice. Strictly law. Feeling ain't got a thing to do with this. What does the law say? How have you broken that law, or how have you adhered to that law? White people mad as a hornet. Can't change it. You got to remember something about God. You're going to get your just reward. It don't mean anything. That's one person, but when you stand before God, I don't care what. He is going to be just. Now watch this. It caused all kind of problem. All of a sudden, people begin to stir up stuff. When we're going to change things? Well, we can talk about this till we blue in the face. That ain't changing nothing. Now, was it a tragedy that a 17-year-old boy was killed? Yes. But it was also a tragedy for NBC to only show pictures of him when he was 12 years old. Yes. It was a tragedy, and I'm not taking up a Zimmerman. I'm just being like a lawyer here. It was a tragedy that they edited his words so it could make it sound like it could be a race. When Trayvon Martin's mama and Trayvon Martin's father said, this is not about race. Now, how come it's turned into race? Because, see, Zimmerman is just as dead as Trayvon is. He couldn't go nowhere. People would kill him in a second. Now, you want my opinion? Yeah, I'll give you. Look at the back people. I want your opinion. I really believe that George should have listened to that 911 lady, leave him alone, and go on home. Do I believe that Trayvon was whipping George Zimmerman's butt? Yeah. Yeah, you can see that. Now, was it enough to the point of he's going to kill me? Well, you don't know that because you ain't the one getting hit. There's some people you can beat them almost to an inch of their life and they don't think they're going to die. There's some people you just spit at them. Oh, they're going to kill me. So you're not going to know that. Now you got two mothers saying that's my son's voice. You got a hard situation here. So I would tell all the black people and the white people, if you want to get mad at somebody, you either get mad at the defense or the prosecution. They picked the jury. Why not 12? Why just 6 women? I don't know, but that's what they said. You see, it's the system. You don't like it, then you got to move to another country. Now, I think it was wrong. The boys in the grade, he's a 17-year-old kid. Now, I don't care how big he is. 17 is 17. You can look like Shaq O'Neal, be a giant, but you're still 17 years old. You know, and I don't think he should have followed it. I don't think it is that. But you see, it's not we spoke. It's the jury spoke. That's the law of the land. I don't like 55 miles an hour. But I can't convince a cop and I have tried. That is a speed trap. He just keeps writing. He don't care because the law has spoken. Now, you want to change that? We have that ability. And you don't do it with riots in the street and causing division. You do it with legislation. Change the law. We are a government of laws. Oh, well, I'm going to make somebody mad now. President Obama is the first black president. No, he ain't. He got a white mama. Zimmerman is half white and half Hispanic. And they call him a white man. That's the first time I ever heard a Hispanic person call a white man. Why? They're leaning toward that way. And I'm not being critical of that. I'm saying is you should make up your mind, not them make up their mind for you. So beware of the race merchants. Because you know what they're going to they're going to work on your emotion. Now you got everybody mad and stirred up. And you got to understand something. Now, you want to know what I really believe? Oh, Lord Jesus. Are we taping this? Okay. All right. I think the United States government was so glad that that happened. Because it took the pressure off of Benghazi. It took the pressure off IRS scandal. It took the pressure off the Department of Justice when the Attorney General of the United States lied to Congress. When he signed the thing, they thought, you think they care about George Zimmerman or Trevor? No, just keep your eyes looking at that. So let Al Sharpton look like it. Let it, we would just use it. They don't care. You know why I know that? Because 61 black people were killed in Chicago in a month. No one, all the civil rights league couldn't name one name. Now what about those men? Oh, 3 weeks earlier, a black man killed another black man in the same place George Zimmerman and Trayvon met. Anybody heard about that? Why? Because the scandals wasn't blowing up yet. I believe that. They're excited. Oh, man. And everything became that case. What's going on? Just like the O.J. Simpson case. I mean, whatever. You see, do we have a right to protest? Well, sure we do. But we have a right to protest, but we don't have a right to divide. We have a right to speak our opinion. But you got to remember, we're still Americans. I honestly believe in all those protests, if some country, like, I don't know, the Middle East can start bombing us, black and white going to grab a gun and not shoot each other. Boom, 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 boom. All of a sudden, we come together. There's one thing you can understand about America. There's one thing about us. We may be mad at each other, but you attack us, we all going to kill you. We're coming at you with everything we got. All of a sudden, man, I mean, color goes out the door, fat go out the door, skinny, ugly, pretty. You want some of me? You want to dance with me? Boy, you got the whole can coming at you now. You see. So what I honestly believe, I think the government shouted. Oh, we can get the pressure off us. But what they forgot is that the media got to say something. It's called ratings. You know why I know that? Hurricanes. Now, I know something about hurricanes. See, y'all had something called Super Hurricane Sandy. We got at least 10 of them every year. Now, they ain't fun. That is some junk. Because let me tell you something about a hurricane, and then you even got preachers saying God sent that. No, that comes to kill, steal, and destroy. God don't send that. That's the devil. He comes to steal, but he don't come if you ain't got nothing to steal. So when I heard about Super Sandy coming, I thought to myself, but they're going to get a revelation. And what they're going to get a revelation was how much water a hurricane can push. And do you know, according to our way, and I'm not saying this, according to the way we look at a hurricane, that wasn't a superstorm. You want a superstorm? Hurricane Katrina. You double the wind velocity of Sandy. We had a 105-foot tidal wave being pushed by Katrina. By the time it got to the shores of Louisiana, it was 26 foot. See, because the land begins to come up. That's what hit them levees. Boom, she broke. And I'm going to tell you something. When there's no longer on the news anymore, let me tell you when the bad stuff starts, after it's over.
That's right.
Oh. And New Orleans is now just getting on its feet, and that was 2005. That is not an easy thing. So, I mean, if you can help, and I say this, if you can help them in that effort, let me tell you something. Because all of a sudden, the insurance company, they want their money right away, but they don't want to give you that. Oh, well, it's like one guy, Katrina, which is so funny. The insurance company, I was right there for me to answer. He says, now wait, we don't know if we can pay for this because we don't know if that was wind damage or water damage. And the man said, well, let me just say this. My roof is in that tree. What you think? How you think that roof got in that tree? Now, you see, they see it, but you know what I mean? I mean, they're trying to hold us money. It's terrible.
Yeah, they do.
But thank God, in the midst of all this junk, that we do have a nation that's willing to help some. The problem with us is that we tend to forget real easy. So on all this stuff, I know there's some innocent people in jail because somebody wanted to be governor. Somebody wanted to be an attorney general. They don't care if that guy go to jail for eternity. They'll go for life. Who cares? Throw him away. Don't make no difference. But if that is a real powerful case, that shows that this guy's doing his job. No. You have to remember that. We're all imperfect. And I don't like some things that happen in juries. But I tell you one thing, that's not an easy thing to be in there. And because you got to remember, after a while, they get tired. And then after a while, they say, well, it don't make no difference. They spend time on such stupid things. When they know, like this guy here that killed all them people, and he wants to defend himself. I'll say this and close, my last closing. I just come off a vacation. Watch this. Jerry Savelle calls, and Carolyn called me and Kenneth. They said, Jesse, when we finish the Southwest Believers Convention, he said, me and Carolyn, we're going to Hawaii, Honolulu. We're going to celebrate our 47th anniversary. I said, oh, great. He said, we'd love for you and Kathy to come with us. Would y'all come with us? So I said, Kathy, you want to go? She said, yeah, that'd be great. Because my birthday was in the same week. I turned 64, and then 3 or 4 days later, they were married 47 years. So we said, and Kathy said, that would be perfect. We can celebrate your birthday in Hawaii, and we'll celebrate their anniversary. And they said, well, can we use your plane? Sure. And they said, it was the best route I ever had in my life going to Hawaii, because you don't go on that time. You just go when you want. Come back when. So we went and had a good time. It was great. Watch this. I don't rent cars when I go to Honolulu because you cannot park them anywhere. Every square inch of that island is taken over, especially around Waikiki. Anybody ever been there? Am I telling the truth? Good God. You think this is a stone jungle? Get on Kalakaua Avenue and try to park. You can't put a washing machine between a car. I mean, it's like this. So what we do is take cabs, take taxis. You know? That's the best way to do it. So me and Jerry always argue about who's going to pay for the cab. We always argue about who's going to pay for the food. So I said, let's get something. Whoever gets in the front seat of the taxi, that's the guy going to pay the cab. Okay, so we would start doing that. Well, they wanted to go to the show. They want on their anniversary day, they wanted to go to the theater and see Superman, Man of Steel. But when he took his shirt off, I said, Captain, do you remember I look like that? She said, no. No, I don't remember you ever look like that. I thought I did, Dad. I said, see it by faith, woman. Come on, see it by faith. That boy was built. He was built. Whoever he was. So I said, we come out the theater, and I hail a cab, and I get in the front seat. So Kathy gets in the back. Jerry and Carolyn Savella in the back. I said, take us to the Cheesecake Factory. That's on Kalakaua Avenue. Yes, sir. He looked at me. He goes, what religion are you? I said, what? I said, what religion are you? I said, I'm a Christian. I'm a Muslim. I don't really like this country much anyway. I'm a man that serves the Quran. I thought to myself, I done got me a radical Islamist. Oh, God. And I'm in the front seat. I see Kathy do this. I see Jerry Savelle do this. I saw Carolyn going to do this. He pulls out his, it was like a phone. He starts showing me, he said, I'm going to tell you something. Why are y'all in Afghanistan? He's mad. It's just because of oil. And then Kathy gets mad. She said, well, the reason why we're in Afghanistan is because you attacked our country. I said, shut up, Kathy. I'm in the front seat. If the bomb goes off, I'm going to get nailed. I'm from neither this lady from this cab driver. He's mad as a hornet. She said, you don't like America? Why don't you just go back to your country? I said, shut up, woman. And there's Jerry Seville and Kenneth. Yeah, I'm going to kill all of y'all when I get out this cab, if I ever get out this cab. I mean, this guy is mad as a hornet. So you're a Christian? I said, yes, I am. Well, I don't believe in Jesus. I said, that don't change it. No, man, I'm just mind. And Captain, they all say, well, if you don't like it, just get out of his country. I said, my wife didn't turn into a sister. She's nailing this guy to the wall, boy. I mean, she's just telling him how the cow eat the cabbage. That's how we say in South Louisiana. You don't like it? We're in Afghanistan because you attacked our country. Do you ever heard of New York City? Oh, Lord Jesus. Boy, this guy, I mean, this demon is manifesting, you know. And I thought, I got to cool this baby off. And I said, man, don't get to the cheesecake factory. Run the lights, run it red, I'll pay the ticket. Just get me out of the front seat. And I thought, I am going to blow this Muslim radical Islamist out of, I'm going to blow his socks off. Boy, he gets mad, you know. I turned around, I think it was like $7 for the trip, or $7.50 or something like that. So I gave him a $10 tip. Kathy said, you give that boy, I can see Kathy, don't give that sucker nothing. Tell him to get on back to his country. You don't like America. And there's Jared, I can't believe it. And I said, that's what a Christian does. Wow. That's right. He went. I said, when's the last time an Islamist did that? After you've been chewed on. I said, you know, you work hard. You need to make a living. Let me give you an extra $10. You can enjoy yourself. He goes, I said, that's a person that serves Jesus. That's what he does. Just want to bless you. Have a nice day. And I wanted to turn around and go, and I mean, I'm walking into the Jeep, and I see, and there's Kathy and Jerry. Why'd you get the car $10, man? I said, well, we live in, aren't we? I kept telling y'all, I'm in the front seat. Shut up. You know, forgot this guy mad as a hornet. I honestly believe that $10 is going to get that old boy saved. Because instead of just saying, I tell you one thing, suck, I wanted to tell him this, get on back to your country, and I'll kick you there myself. I wanted to take his Koran, just rip it up. What you think about that? I'm from New Orleans. You want to dance with me? I'll make you an offer you don't refuse. I'll do what my grandfather said, you know. That's what the Mississippi River's for. My grandpa kills a lot of people. He buried him in the swamp. My grandpa was one mean sucker, son. I was raised on the streets of New Orleans. You do what you got to do. He said, you don't develop no conscience. Somebody mess with you. You fix that. That's how I was raised. I would do well in New York City. I would. But that's wrong. You don't tell a child that. That hit me. But boy, my mama would have fits. Well, my grandpa was seriously good about that. But yet mama got him saved 7 days before he died. Busted through all that, I don't know, all that junk he had. That guy could not get over it. I saw him, look, his hand was shaking over that $10. I said, buy something. I said, you know, and help yourself out. I said, this is what a Christian does. I said, well, you know, we can agree to disagree. And thank God. And I said, thank God that America, you can worship Muhammad if you want to. I said, but don't get mad if someone else worships Jesus. I said, I'm pretty sure in your country they wouldn't allow that. I said, but in this country they do. And here's $10 to prove it. You have a nice day. I honestly believe I walked out and I think that $10 shook that boy to his shoes. Because what he wanted me to do is, So on the Trayvon Martin case and on the Zimmerman thing, I know those people wanted to jump on. But that's just causing division. There's enough sadness on this. What we need to do is pray for those parents, both of them, both sides, because they all hurt. Now, whether you agree or disagree with that doesn't make any difference. Because I want to tell you something, people are going to get their just due because God keeps the books. You follow what I'm saying? Should I say this? Yeah. O.J. Simpson came up to me. This boy went to jail. Second or third time, whatever you've been in jail. He came through the back of the Believers Convention a few years ago. He says, I'd like to meet you, Jesse. And when he shook my hand, O.J. Simpson got some big hands, buddy. Because if the glove doesn't fit, you must quit. Good lawyer. Worth his weight in gold. I personally believe the prosecution of the Zimmerman case, everything they did went toward the defense. The prosecution failed that case, in my opinion. I'm going to just tell you. The defense was sharp, son. The defense knew what they were doing. The defense, that was a white Johnny. If you think about that, he was sharp, buddy. He was coming. He knew, and that's what he's supposed to do, even though if you think the guy's guilty or not. You know, he's innocent until proven guilty. You understand what I'm saying? But the prosecution did. Well, anyway, that's just my opinion, you know. So I came back and I told Kathy, you know, because I remember O.J. Simpson. Man, they called him the juice. I mean, man, the boy could play. You know what I'm saying? He was a football player. I said, Kathy, guess what? She said, what? I said, I shook O.J. Simpson's hand there. I said, just a while ago. And I thought, you know, but Kathy just... She hadn't lost that, like being in a deadgum cab. She said, how does it feel to shake a murderer's hand? I said, woman, you need prayer. Because she ain't got over that yet. You killed one. That man knew there was a white woman, a black woman, a white man, black. No man, he killed somebody, took their life. You see what I'm saying? But you know what? The jury didn't say that. I don't care what I think. I live in the United States of America, and we are a country of laws. So I got to go by that. Whether I agree or disagree with it has nothing to do with it. Now, I can protest about it. I can say, well, I don't believe in it, but I shouldn't cause division about it. And I shouldn't make money on it. Like that first juror trying to get that first book out. I was saying, oh, back off that thing. Let's get away from that. Now the other one saying, well, he got away with murder. That's another thing. See, you got to understand, pressure's coming when there shouldn't be. We live in the United States of America, and that's our, I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's probably the best system they got out there. You see what I'm saying? You know, and you know, everybody has their opinion about why people do what they do. And somebody lost their life over it, and some other person's life's lost too. Where that boy gonna go? If he walked the street, you catch him just like that. You spot him in a second. So now you got two families destroyed. And it didn't have to. Trayvon could have just kept on walking and let the fool say what he's going to say. George Zimmerman should have never got out that car. You want to watch him? Watch him. Stay in the car. See, they were wrongs on both that. But I got to say, one's a 17-year-old kid and the other one's a lot older. A little old, looks like a lot old. I don't know how old Zimmerman is, but, you know, and you have to put into the factor that he's 17. But do I think Zimmerman, and I'm not just being, do I think he's a racist? Well, he brought a black girl to the prom. That don't sound like a racist to me. That sounds, he liked that woman. I don't know. Because you don't know what's inside people. They say one thing when the cameras are... So let's quit dividing each other. You see what I'm saying? Let's quit stirring that junk up. We've had enough of that. And that's why I Covenant Church, my home church, they look at me and they go, I've had some people say, you have a lot of black people in church? No, I don't have one black person. What? You don't? I don't have one Hispanic person neither. I don't have any white people. Oh, you got a church full of Indians? No. I ain't got no red people neither. I don't have any yellow people. I ain't no Chinese, Japanese, Koreans, any of that. I have people that come to my church. Nothing is ever said. We don't know. And even Creflo Dollar said, how long have we been preaching together, Jesse? I said, 20 years, I guess. He said, do you know I'm black? I did not know that. I didn't. I don't see him as a black man or a white man. I see him as a covenant man. I like what Bill Winston said one time. Can I tell you one more thing? You know Bill Winston? I love Bill. Bill's a blessing. He wants to go borrow some money. And that stupid president of that bank says, well, we've never lent a black man that much money. And that's a prejudiced statement, huh? And Bill says, well, what that got to do with me? He said, what'd you say? What that got to do with me? He said, I ain't a black man, I'm a covenant man. And the guy freaked out so bad, he lent him the money. I love that. He says, well, what does that got to do with me? Now, you should forget your color, but never forget your culture. Now, I'm going to have to say this because this is New Orleans. You say, I'm a Cajun. What is a Cajun? Cajun is anything you want to be. You could call us the trash. I was called a coon ass. Anybody ever heard that? Look at that lady. Oh. Anybody's ever heard that from a Cajun? Hold your hand up so people know what I'm doing. I ain't cussing here. I'm just saying the truth. I was called a coon ass. I was introduced. We got a coon ass preacher here coming to preach today. Look at this. This is what they call the Cajun people. Coon asses. That's it. Now, I had a black friend named Jessee. Same name as me. I'll never forget this. This white prejudice idiot called Jessee a coon. How many ever heard people call a black person a coon? Oh, yeah, okay, you know what I'm talking about. Jessee got mad. I said, what are you mad for, Jessee? At least you the front end. He looked at me. I said, he thinks I'm the back end. At least you the front end. He goes, yeah, that's right. I said, he's an idiot. Let's don't even let that guy destroy our day. So we got in our line, and I was in front of Jessee. He said, I got to get in front of you, Jeff. Okay. But that's what they say. Now, Kathy, when she heard that, ooh. I said, Kathy, that man ain't worth getting mad over. Because it's useless. You're wasting time and energy on someone that doesn't matter at all what they think. But I had to give him a little shot. Maybe I shouldn't have, but it felt so good. I said, well, you know, I may be a coon ass, but you came and saw me. I didn't come to see you. So who really is the ass? I'm sorry. It was wrong, but it felt so good. I'll let you know. Am I shaking y'all? Look at this lady here. Oh, geez, she praying. Oh, geez. But it was wrong. But I said that two wrongs don't make a right. Oh, I got that word out the Bible. It's in the King James, but they say Balaam saddled his ass. Now, how did he do that? I don't know. But all I do know, he did. Look at some of y'all wanting to laugh so bad, but you Baptists. I'm not cussing here. I'm just being honest and truthful. That ain't cussing. That's culture in New Orleans. And I thought, why would that man say that? What I ever did him? Then I realized it isn't worth getting mad over. So I would advise you, if that trial has messed you up, pray for both those families. Ask God to help them. Because if you want justice, it will come, because the God of all gods will do right. Did you enjoy it tonight? Now, do not send this tape to my office. But I did what I felt the Lord wanted me to do. So when you pray, you believe that you receive. And when you get away from that paying part and get to that believing part, the paying's going to come to pass. You'll never struggle with it in any way, shape, or form. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. It'll happen. And if you keep your faith in the now and quit putting that thing in the future, you'll get all your prayers answered. And one day you'll look and say, God, you got to give me a new dream, because this dream's already come to pass. It will. Now, as Pastor Dan said, we're going to receive an offering for this ministry. Whatever you give this ministry, look at me, 100% of it's going in the world evangelism. Do you need it, Brother Judd? No, but I want it. Did I shock you? I don't deal with need. Because when you get what you want, it destroys all your need. That's why you're like a buffet, because you get what you want. It's not greed if you go back for seconds. Look at me. How many of you watch my television program? We have a project called Project Broadcast Earth. We're now, come Friday, New York time, at 5 o'clock your time, I will have preached to over 2.9 billion people worldwide in 14 different languages. Isn't that something? Now, you know who's done that? Not Jesse Duplantis. If you are partner to my ministry, would you hold your hand up? You did that. When we get to heaven, ma'am, I'm not going to get the accolade. I'm not going to get the reward for that. I just did the work. You're going to get it. God's going to say this. Because you honored me through that man's ministry and was concerned for others, this is what I have for you. So tonight's offering in its entirety is going 100% toward world evangelism. We have no debt. So if you send $20 a month to me, the whole $20 goes in it, in the world evangelism. It don't go to any debt. We don't have any. It's just such a blessing. So ushers, if you'll pass out these offering envelopes, I want you to look at this envelope. This is a Jesse Duplantis ministry offering envelope. I want everybody to look at me. You can do two things at one time. If you're writing a check out, you make it out to JDM. Jesse Duplantis, you will get a tax-deductible receipt for your giving. If you're giving cash, place the cash in an offering envelope. Look at me, very important. You can do two things at one time. If you want a receipt, then you need to put your address on the offering envelope. Some people don't want a receipt, but then they put the cash in there. It still will go toward world evangelism. If you give no longer by checks or cash, you give by debit cards or bank cards. 30% of America now does that. That's how they handle their finances. There's a place in that offering envelope that you can put the number of your card. Look at me. Look at me. Very important. If you give like that through your card, would you please seal the offering envelope so we can protect your identity? Would you do that? We believe in that. That's your private information, and nobody has a right to that. So I ask you to do your best. We believe in God for 5,000 people to give $1,000 extra. That's 5 million. We're now buying more local television station time. We already own enough satellites and all kinds of other things. We have Project Publish the Word. Listen to this, ladies and gentlemen. If you give me $100 tonight, I can put the Voice of the Covenant magazine in 20 homes and prisons for a solid year. I took my granddaughter to the mall, and she wanted to eat some chicken strips. So in the mall, in a little food court. And so I'm sitting there with Mary, and this man walked up and he says, I want to tell you something. I used to be a gangster. I've been out of jail a few months. You sent me that magazine. I spit on it. I did a lot of things. And one time I decided to read it. It changed my life. I'm born again. I'm saved. He had tears in his eyes. And I thought, now, this man's soul, who is that attributed to? It wasn't to Jesse Duplantis. It was to the partner that gave that money. I said, sir, you're thanking the wrong man. I said, thank the partners of my ministry who helped me. I was able to send that to you free of charge, and it changed your life. We have Project Publish the Word, and it's happening. We have Project Go Ye. That's happening. We got Project Legacy. We're digitizing everything I've ever done. My granddaughter will see her grandfather with young, brown hair, fat, skinny, gray hair, white hair, sagging skin, tight skin. Everything I've ever done has been recorded, documented, and in the vaults. I'm doing the same thing that television is doing with Johnny Carson and I Love Lucy and what Hollywood's doing with old movies, digitizing everything. And people want them old tapes. Sometimes I watch myself and I go, man, look at that. That was me 35 years ago, young. What happened? Praise God. But it's amazing. A lady from Australia, Dan, just called our office and said, I want the sermon that I got saved hearing Brother Jesse preach. And my staff member said, oh, do you know the title of it? Yes, I do. She gave me that. You know when he preached? Yeah, 1978. We went into the morgue. We call it the morgue, into our vaults. And we found that tape. We never threw away our old machines. We still got 1-inch machines, 3/4-inch machines, all that kind. You have to. So we're going to make a copy of it. And when it did, it started breaking up. We had to stop it. We had to send it to a company. It cost us $1,500 to bake it. I don't know what it means by baking it, but we got it back so we could fix it. We found out that we could digitize. Now the technology is so good, you see, that you can preserve that. Because I have sermons that are on film, 8-track tape, cassette, all this kind of stuff. So we found out instead of $1,500, I could do it all for $375 a piece. So that's 8,000 people giving $375. That's $8 million. That takes care of the whole preaching library. So the lady, she said, well, I'll send you the check. Now, and we thought the lady was going to send us a check for $375 to do that. She sent us a check for $15,000. She had a little note. She said, do some other ones for other people. Now, people don't just do that unless God speaks that to them. Found out that she's not a wealthy lady, you know, rich. She's not poor. She's middle class, you know, just making a good living or whatever, working hard. She lives in Sydney, Australia. I mean, I'll keep her name private because that's her personal business. Now, for $15,000, then I realized that that project was from the Lord. So we're going to place these monies toward all those projects so people can get touched by God. So thank you for giving to this ministry. Thank you for being a partner, all of you. I will not falter and I will not fail. I'm telling you, I know what I'm doing. I know when to do it, where to do it, and how to do it. Because God is real. Hold your offering up to the Lord. I want to pray over it. Look, Jesus. Look. Look, Lord. They need that money, God. But they need more of a harvest than they do a seed. So, Lord, I ask you for the 30, 60, and 100-fold and 1,000 times. Because this is a seed. And the rate of exchange is the 30, 60, 100-fold and 1,000 times. And its motivation is faith and reward. So I ask you to bless every individual in this building. And I thank you for it. In Jesus' name. Ushers, go ahead and receive the offering. Let me say this before they sing a song. I thank you for allowing me to preach to you. I could pray for you. I'm not in a hurry. But I want to tell you something. I really believe the Lord's telling me this. I really believe Faith Exchange, I think, recorded this. You didn't get it all. You need to go to there. Wait, don't play yet. Don't play yet. I want everybody to hear this. It's vitally important that you hear this message again. And it's on Faith Exchange table. You get that. You play that over until everything I said tonight comes to pass in your life. Then you take that and you pass it on. Because you want people blessed. You want to minister to them. I could pray for you for sick, but by His stripes you were healed. So what are you doing being sick? Heal thyself. That's what I do. All of a sudden I start to feel bad. No. By His stripes I am healed. You trying to make me sick? You trying to make the Word of God a liar? No. And all of a sudden, just leave. Kathy says, that's amazing, Jesse. I'm going to start doing that too. I said, do it. Because I tried sick and I didn't like it. It didn't feel good. I tried sad. I didn't like that neither. I tried broke. I ain't going to never do that again as long as I ever live in my life. And God has been good and gracious to me. So it's been an honor and a pleasure. Now, they're going to sing a song. I want you to listen to it. And if you can, you get a copy of this from the Faith Exchange table. You don't have a good church? Here's a good one. Come to it. Oh, yeah, but I got to fight the traffic. Well, before you were saved, you fought the traffic to go to a dance. You fight the traffic to go to a restaurant. You fight the traffic to see a girl. Fight the traffic to go to church. And the way y'all park, you don't like the car, y'all just bump it. I thought, good God, this is New York. Get out of the way, man. I'm trying to get out. They'll put a long car in a short space this quick. Good. That's how it is. It works. God will minister to you great. Is that my offering here?
Yes.
Well, bring it to me, son.
Yes.
Hey, you don't look at them, you look at me. You come in there. He's got to understand. Can I pray over it? Is that all right, Dad?
Please do.
Oh, come on, sweetheart. Hallelujah. Glory to God. I promise everyone that I'll not take a dime or a dollar this month.
Amen.
I will place it 100% into God's kingdom.
Amen.
And brother, you can bring it to our people in the back. Jesus, look, Lord, this is a thick one. He was still putting in there. That's a soul, God. I asked you for every dollar given to my ministry, give me a soul. I'll let everyone that put this by faith, let it no longer be in the future. Let the harvest come now.
Amen.
I don't care if they got to find it on the street. Minister greatly to everyone. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen and amen.
Amen.
Brother, you can go ahead and bring it to the back. Give the Lord a hand clap as they sing a song.
Amen. Now let's just water that seed with your worship for just a minute. As we dedicate, you want to make sure you stay with your seed. You want to make sure that you keep it in the now, right now. Go with the message tonight. Just really understand. Don't be separated from your seed, as you must put your faith on it. You got to believe that when you sowed that seed, that your need is met now. But you got to move into the Spirit to do it. You can't just stay in the natural, look at your circumstances, and expect to pay for everything. You believe it when you pray it. When you sow that seed, believe that your need is met right now. So let's just sing this song together and worship a little bit as we water our seed right now.
Give myself away. I give myself away so you can use me. I give myself away. I give myself away so you can use me. I give myself away. I give myself away so you can use me. I give myself away. Myself away so you can use me. Here I am, here I stand. Lord, my life is in your hand. Lord, I'm longing to see your desire revealed in me. I give myself away. I give myself away so you can use me. Give myself away. Give myself away so you can use me. My life is not my own. To you I belong. I give myself to you. My life is not my own. I give myself to you. My life is not my own. To you I belong. I give myself to you. My life is not my own. To you I belong. I give
Hug 2 or 3 people on your way out. We love the Lord here. You are dismissed. Make sure you go downstairs to Jessee.